So you probably noticed there's a lot of really strange results on this list that really don't make a lot of sense. And to be honest, some of them are probably my fault. It's really hard for me to get perfectly accurate results, so I'm just going to show you exactly how I do my testing and why some things come out a little bit incorrect. So right now what I'm currently testing is I went through the list of all words. I looked at every single green word that looked like, maybe it's probably not a green word, like this seems like something that would get you in trouble. I made a full list of them on this Test Again tab down here. There's about 900 something, and I actually had just enough videos testing on this account that I just went through and I changed every video name to one of these. They all started green, so I'm just going through marking the ones that are now turning up yellow. And I mean, I'll be real, sometimes they just do not update. But this is what my account looks like. I've got almost 1,000 test videos right here. So there were a few videos that were yellow before I got started, and so I just changed them to numbers. And usually, if you change them to something like this, it should make them go green, because there's nothing in it that's causing it to be yellow. But I feel like sometimes they just get kind of stuck, so I will end up having to go through and just delete these videos and probably upload some more later. But anyways, I'm just going through, marking down the ones that are showing up yellow right now. And the most recent one I have marked as Donkey Punch, whatever that is. Donkey Punch is yellow. Double Dong and Douche are yellow. But as you can see, like sometimes they just don't update for whatever reason. Like I updated all of these yesterday, and so I let it sit all night so that they'd all have time to refresh. And like the first page, like the first 30 videos on the list, like usually they're pretty good about updating, but the farther you go back in pages, like it seems like they just don't get to it that well, I guess. So like right now I'm on page 13, so I'll have words like douche is yellow, but then douchebag is green, douche nozzle's green. Like, I mean, I could understand the ones that are like one word, because like the bot doesn't really see that as it doesn't see the douche in that word. But with these ones, I definitely think they should be yellow, but they're still showing up green. So that's pretty much why I get some wrong answers sometimes. We got douche waffle and douchey. Those ones are yellow. Alright, these ones are starting to make a little bit more sense. But I kind of wanted to just show my process. For anybody who wants to help out with this list, like I said, this is getting to be like a little bit of a daunting task for one person, because there's no way I can keep it updated all the time. Let's see, Dyke is yellow. Number. Eat out is yellow. So there's a few different ways I go about testing things. Now when it comes to testing out these green ones that I feel shouldn't be green, these are actually one of the easier tests to do, because all I have to do is just put all of these words on a video that's already green, and then go through and then mark up all of the ones that came out yellow in the end. I mean, like I said, it's not going to catch all of them that should be yellow, but it will reduce the amount of mistakes I have on the green list. Like I said, before I started, all of these were considered green. But right before I did these green testings, I went through and I pulled a lot of the yellow words that looked like they shouldn't be there, and I tested a bunch of those. But the way you test those, it's a little more complicated. So just like when it comes to these, I would go through, change a whole bunch of titles to these yellow words, and then I would check back later, and then like a good majority of them would come up yellow, like I would expect to. But then some of them don't change to yellow, so I have to wonder, like, is it not turning yellow because it's not a yellow word anymore, or is it not turning yellow because it's just not refreshing? And so that's when it becomes really hard to actually figure out the right answer. So what I then do is I mark all of the ones that stayed green, and I figure, okay, if these are truly green words, then I should be able to put those words over a yellow video and have it go from yellow to green. So like I said, I'll mark down all of the words that ended up being green, and then I'll use those words, put them over the videos that already turned yellow, which I already confirmed, are still yellow, And you know, maybe some of those videos do go from yellow to green and I can confirm like, okay, I'll take this one off the yellow list. But then sometimes they will stay yellow. Which, I mean, if you're following here, it means I put it on a green video and it stayed green, and I put it on a yellow video and it stayed yellow. So I'm like, well, I guess I'll leave it on the yellow list. People might complain that they have green videos with this yellow word in it, but really the whole purpose of the yellow list is so that if you have a video that ends up demonetized, you can come and check the list and see if any words in your title appear on this list, and then you can try changing those and see if that helps. And if there's a word that, you know, keeps a yellow video yellow, maybe it's like right on the line of green and yellow, and maybe you still want to know about that word. That's why I leave it on the yellow list. But yeah, that kind of explains why some of these are like weird results. If the bot was actually good at just scanning things and scanned every video that you updated and just gave you an accurate result for each one, then this job would be pretty easy. I could handle it just fine. The problem is it doesn't really work so well all the time. Explicit is now yellow. Explicitly is still green though. I've also had a handful of people talk about automating this process. The problem I have with automating it is, well, first off, I do have CeeLo that's been helping me, and he has a program to automate it. He's been saying he's going to give it to me at some point, but I don't know. It's been it's been a while, and he still hasn't gotten it to me. But at the same time, the part that automation can take care of is not necessarily the most time-consuming part of this, because like with his program, he could just go through and change the title of like hundreds of videos all at once. But then you'd still have to wait around and then check the results and mess around with it. I mean, the whole point of this project is that I'm trying to outsmart robots, but you can't use robots to outsmart other robots. Like, I have no problem changing hundreds of titles like really fast. I can do that part pretty well. But it's the parts where you've got to like keep retesting certain words. That's the part that really takes up a whole bunch of time. Anyways, if you ever want to see what I'm working on, I'll usually leave up words in this test again section. I might create another tab of like new words that I'm adding to it, which by the way, I've set up an email address that I have linked on the top of the main page here. Notice words missing from the list. Just send it to ytwordlist@gmail.com. So if you're looking for words that aren't on the list and you want me to add some to it, then just send me an email with a handful of extra words. I mean, if people sent in like 100 words a day, like that is completely reasonable. I can take care of that, no problem. That doesn't take much time at all. But yeah, I'll pretty much always be like rechecking words on this list while also adding more to it. And that's where a lot of my time will be taken up by. At some point I do want to test words in like description and tags, and then even like words that show up on the thumbnail, or like in the dialogue or on the screen in the video. You know, test all kinds of different things, see if we can narrow it down a little more. Like I said, I might be looking for help with this at some point. I'm not entirely sure how I want to go about it. I've already gotten like 100 people requesting access to this list, and I'm very reluctant to like, you know, give access to anybody I have never met or talked to before. So I don't really know how I'm going to find people I can trust, but hopefully I can figure something out. One idea I did have was to just have like a separate file, basically doing the same thing as this test again tab, where I just have people who all can work on a separate file, and then I can pull the results from that and then put it onto the main list. But I'd still be the only one who has access to the official list. I just don't want anybody like getting access to this and then like completely, you know, deleting everything or, you know, messing it all up. But that's the whole testing process. Hope that cleared some more things up. I feel like I'm gonna have to do a lot of videos just explaining what I'm doing, but thanks for watching.